Grace, peace, and mercy, all. This is Pastor Chris from Spruce Run Lutheran. One of the things we did this Sunday during our congregational meeting was spend some time talking about our Giving 110% challenge, as well as our committee focuses for the year. So I just wanted to make sure those of you who weren't able to attend or were attending virtually and could only sort of hear me were able to hear sort of basic stuff that we talked about as well. So one of the things that I brought up that's been sort of bandied about a bit, but I don't know if it's really hit home for folk yet, that most congregations, not just ELCA, but sort of churches in general, have experienced a 35% decrease in overall participation from sort of the time of COVID going forward. This has included worship attendance, offering, as well as participation in congregational activities. And here at Spruce Run, we've had sort of a, right around there, give or take one or 2 percentage points on either one of those things. But essentially, 35% is where we're at to 35% drop from 2 or 3 years ago. So to kind of start to move us into a positive direction and try to get us out of the gravity well that has been COVID, we're going to be jump-starting this year with a Giving 110% challenge. So we're challenging everybody to give 110% in their participation in a variety of ways. We're hoping, our goal is that this year we will have in-person worship attendance increase by 4 people. Our total worship attendance, so both in-person as well as virtual, to increase by 9. So that's our goal for the year, as well as we're hoping to increase our monthly offering by $1,090 this year. So all of those will be bumping us up by 10%. So giving 110%, like your coach used to tell you when you were doing your sport or your speech and debate, whatever it was, you were being coached and told 110%, give it. So those are some of the areas. Now, how do you do that? How do you focus on getting there? And for us, we're going to have a, sort of 5 things we're looking at. Now, you might remember when I was first called here, I said that I would be writing every recommendation that people give me in a book and not doing anything with it for a year. So I had that notebook. I kind of compiled all the things people wanted to do, thought were important, all of that, and I distilled them down into 5 basic things. So reorganizing and repopulating committees, re-engaging ministries with young people, developing fellowship opportunities, discerning faithful and sustainable building use, and addressing stewardship in a holistic and year-round way. So we kind of took some time, some of the council and I, and did that first one, the reorganizing part of reorganizing committees. And we came up with a series of 5 focuses for committees for this year, because our theory is you can't turn on all the committees at once. Well, you could, but if you did, everybody would be exhausted by March or something. We'd be done. Because you need sort of a critical mass in each of the places we focus. So we're going to be focusing on worship and music. So particularly, this is because most people meet in worship. There's a lot of other things that happen at church, but worship is where the majority of folk are. So as we repopulate worship and music, consider both sort of the backstage stuff that happens into worship happening each week, as well as the upfront stuff that you kind of see in every Sunday. Secondly, there is holistic stewardship. So sometimes stewardship committees can be, the last couple of months before the end of the year, you do some stuff, and particularly you focus on money. But there's a whole lot of life that goes on that we hopefully are using to the glory of God, right? So we're expanding that out to consider our whole selves, our gifts, our talents, our passions. So, one of the things that we'll be having is a a group that's going to be focusing on that 110%, seeing where we're at in that goal and what we can do to make that go better. Additionally, there is building discernment. So we have a wonderful facility, we have a historical cemetery as well as a historical place of worship, and groups are gathering back together. We're getting back in person, so we're looking to do that in an orderly kind of fashion. But also, we want folk to think a bit about how to do new things in this space. So we're getting together a group of people, and I'm hoping that folk will be creative, imaginative, as well as grounded as we think about potential new uses for the building. Additionally, we're focusing on fellowship and outreach, because all of us, our whole society, is wanting to reconnect with people, right? That we want to be together as a congregation. We also want to connect with our neighbors. So we're going to be focusing on that in a variety of ways. And then finally, looking at our young people. What is it that they are needing at this time? And the focuses that at least we've initially came up with are focusing on their education, their socialization, and mentorship. So, educational stuff like confirmation, Sunday school, socialization. I mean, when kids are with their peers and they're caring about their faith, that shifts things in their life. And then finally, mentorship. That when a young person sees somebody who's not in their family, who's of a different age, a different peer group than them, and see how they live out their faith, it gives them ideas about how they can live out their faith for their whole lifelong. So to kind of get you thinking about all these things more clearly, there is a gifts, talents, and passions sheet that has different areas you can sign up for. What is it you're passionate about? What is God calling you to do in this congregation at this time in this place? And also to kind of help you out to think about what you're being asked to do, the back side of this gifts, talents, and passions sheet has a description of a lot of these things that we're asking if you are feeling called to do, and descriptions even of how much time some of these take, because sometimes you worry that, am I going to be doing this thing or that thing, for the next 30, 35 years, and is that going to be my entire weekend, or whatever. There's different things that people worry about with that. So hopefully we're allaying some of those worries and giving you a sense of what kind of commitment you're looking at with that. So in conclusion, we're looking at giving 110%, and we are putting together a very focused set of committees and a focus of what our year is going to look like in order to get to that goal. So with that, God bless, and looking forward to seeing everybody participating in the ways God's calling them to in this congregation. Bye.